Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for being here today and bringing your expertise. I just want to start by following up on Mr. Kennedy's remarks about the importance of STEM education. I just came from the Education Committee where we're marking up a bill and a lot of discussion about STEM education, and I just share the concern of making sure that we are engaging the next generation. I do want to note that NASA recently selected its trainees to become astronauts, and half of them were women. I think that's the first time that that's happened. We want to make sure that we have the next generation of astronauts and scientists and people who are interested in these fields. So I'm very concerned about whether we're going to be, through restructuring, affecting those existing partnerships between NASA and other education groups and entities. So I want to share that concern, and I know you've commented on it. I also want to bring up another thing. You know, many of us on the committee do not have NASA facilities in our districts. We might have involvement with programs like human spaceflight and missions to Mars just through subcontractors or others in the supply chain. But NASA has historically been a multi-mission agency with a balanced portfolio in human exploration, human spaceflight, science and aeronautics. And I know we're having conversations about whether those priorities should change. But because of that multi-mission history, I often discuss the importance of NASA's other missions, including the Earth Science mission. And I know Representative Edwards brought this up, but I'm the ranking member on the Environment Subcommittee. I know the chairman was here. And the Environment Subcommittee has jurisdiction over NASA Earth Science programs. So cuts to those programs cause me some serious concern. There's some significant national activities such as weather monitoring. Oregon State University, for example, receives funding through this program, and the work that they do helps in that area. And according to the national academies, NASA's aging Earth observation system threatens a disruption in information that can help detect long-term climate trends that contribute to severe weather patterns. That affects not only space exploration, but a lot of other issues as well. So can you discuss the Authorizations Act's reduction in funding for the Earth Science programs, for NASA's Earth Science programs? What impact might that have on long-term weather and climate forecasting, both within NASA and other agencies, and how important is that work to space exploration?
Well, as I remarked in my opening comments, I view with considerable concern the deep cuts to Earth science that are contained in the proposed Authorization Act. It's clear that the administration and the Congress have, at least as Congress's views are expressed in this draft act, very different views of how to allocate money within the space science enterprise at NASA. And on the administration side, I've seen what I view to be alarmingly deep cuts in planetary exploration, which has been, I think, one of NASA's real shining successes in recent years. In this bill, the pendulum swings too far in the other direction, in my view, and has alarmingly deep cuts to Earth science. If we're going to see a NASA budget, if we're going to see an authorization level that's consistent with sequestration sorts of budgets, clearly some tough choices have to be made. But rather than singling out any one scientific discipline for disproportionate cuts, which is what I'm seeing on both sides right now, having those cuts sort of sensibly distributed across the space science enterprise, I think makes more sense. It's going to call on committees like this to come up with some compromises, and I urge you to try to do that. To get specifically to your question, if you look at the suite of missions that were recommended by the Earth Sciences Decadal Survey from the National Academies, they would focus on understanding the Earth as a system, not just focusing on trying to forecast tomorrow's weather, but trying to really understand the Earth's climate system, the Earth's geosciences, to really try to develop a systems approach to understanding the Earth. And that is inevitably going to pay off in providing decision makers who are wrestling with things like climate change with the kinds of information that are going to be necessary to make smart decisions.
Mr. Young, you're nodding your head. You agree. Thank you very much. I see my time has expired. I yield back. Thank you.